Hey everyone, how's it going? Hey you guys, my name is Victor Moreno. I'm your pal here, and welcome to Cult Classics. Where tonight, my friends, we are bringing you a treat. I know we saw this movie a long time ago, back in 2020, during the pandemic, and it blew our mind. It's like such a fun movie. It reminded us of stuff like Ghost World and Napoleon Dynamite. Had this SLC punk vibe, but it was really DIY. It was fun, and we were just like, man, I wish you could see this in a theater with a group of people. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah! Or like maybe one day. And then a few months back, it showed up on Hulu. It showed up on TikTok, and Kyle Gallner, who's awesome, posted, hey guys, call people, talk to those movie guys, maybe they can get in the theater. And I was like, dude, we can make this happen. And we worked on it for a couple of months, and we, my friends, made it happen. We have 2 sold-out screenings of Dinner in America! And we love this movie, and a few months ago we saw another movie we really loved, and that movie was called Snack Shack. And my God, you guys, it was by the same director of Dinner in America, and it blew our minds. And when we had a chance to bring him out here and talk about this movie, what it means to you, what it means to us, we're like, we've got to make this happen. So you guys, this month at Cult Classics, we have Dinner in America, and we also have the director and writer of Dinner in America and Snack Shack, Adam Carter Rehmeier, and he's here right now, so let's clap and bring him down. All right, we got guys with hoodies up here. Give it up. All right, so we got Adam here.
Hello, beautiful people.
So we're gonna have a little conversation here. We're gonna talk about a few things, and then we're gonna give you guys a chance to talk to Adam, ask him some stuff. We just wanna get a few housekeeping things out here. I don't know if you guys saw, but Chombi's outside. And aside from being a fun photo op, you can win them. And Adam's gonna sign that t-shirt. You can have them in your home. And all the proceeds from those raffle tickets, they're only $5, are going to Rosie's House, which is a music academy for kids here in Phoenix. So we can find another pair of musical misfits, just like Kyle and Emily's characters, maybe here in Phoenix. Help support, guys, all right? All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit. And this movie, I think, touches on a lot of people's heartstrings. It's an amazing movie, but you've done like other movies since, and so how weird is it to have your career going on, and this movie you made during, that came out during the pandemic gets revisited? How do you feel about that? How does it affect you? Tell us a little bit.
Well, another thing too is I wrote this movie, we're coming up on 10, 11 years.
Wow.
So it took 6 years from the time I wrote it to the time we premiered it at Sundance 2020, which was the last Sundance before the pandemic happened. So, that was 6 really long, hard years. So
like another lifetime.
It's another lifetime.
Yeah.
That's a really good question and a really good point. And so it took 6 years to make, and there was a lot of heartbreak in the 6 years to even get the film to that point. And then, 2 months after the film premieres, the pandemic hits, and any chance at distribution is just like put on pause. And, we ended up trying to wait out the pandemic by doing an enormous festival run with the film. We did probably 100+ festivals. I think we probably won audience awards at maybe 20, 25 of them. Emily won awards, I won awards, Kyle won awards, for their performances. And at some point in there, we had to get the film out because it was going to get pirated at some point and just end up on the internet. And so we had kind of a lackluster release because everyone was still masking, and we had to do it in 2022. We just had to release the film. And frankly, we didn't get our day in the theater, which we really wanted to have. So fast forward, in the pandemic, I wrote Snack Shack, and then we shot Snack Shack, and then I just was shooting another film. I'll just go ahead and spoil it now, but I just did another film with Kyle Gallner and Samara Weaving called Caroline and Caroline. That's my new film. I'm editing it right now, and it will be coming out probably mid-2025.
I'm super excited to see
It's a really amazing film. We just were test screening it the other night, so we're kind of in the last stages of locking picture, and then we'll get into sound design and score and everything else. But for me, this has been a 10+ year journey with this film. So to be working down in Kentucky this summer where we were shooting, somebody texted me and said, "Have you seen what's going on with Dinner in America on TikTok?" I said, "No, I don't have TikTok." And so I decided to get TikTok, and then I looked and I was like, "Oh shit!" There had been a few million impressions at that point.
Yeah.
And I saw, maybe 800-900 videos of people, posting either lip syncing the song or covering the song in some way, or kind of, these personal stories and what it meant to them. And we just watched it, like while Kyle and I were shooting and just watching it. We looped in Emily. We're like, "Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? The film's finally finding its audience." And it found it organically, and it found it through you. Who got into the film through TikTok? Just show of hands. Okay, cool. Other screenings we go to, it's over half the crowd, and it's just a beautiful thing. The technology really allowed for it to happen organically, and so. I think it's over 1 billion impressions I know it's over 1 billion impressions. It might even be 1.5 billion in the various hashtags now.
Yeah.
I think the song is up to maybe 30, just on Spotify, it's maybe like 33, 34, million streams in like the last 2 months. It's insane. It's insane. So this has been the wildest ride. I think it's everything that you hope for when you're in my position. You want the film to find its audience. So important, and it's been the most beautiful to see everyone's artwork and the inspiration that it's created. To see people pick up instruments and to play. It reminds me of when I was a teenager and Nirvana Nevermind happened, and suddenly music seemed like something that you could do.
Yeah.
And I did it, and so it feels like, in some abstract way for me, it feels like passing the torch, to another generation, and to see, young women picking up guitars and playing. I absolutely love it and encourage it, and I hope that I'm going to a lot of shows in the next couple of years.
So we were talking about this earlier too, and how many people here have already seen this movie, by the way? That's amazing. Who here hasn't seen this movie? All right. You guys are in for a treat, let me just tell you that right now. But something I can touch on without really getting into spoilers is that music plays a really integral part in this movie. And I think a lot of people here really love the song Watermelon. And we were talking with Adam earlier, and he was telling us that about how the genesis of the music in this film came about through the collaboration between him and Emily, who really wanted to be here. And she sent us a video just a few minutes ago that we weren't able to get up here on the screen, but we're gonna post it on our social media after the movie for you guys. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the collaboration between you and Emily and how the music in the film came about?
Yeah, so this, for those that haven't seen it, there's a kind of daunting 1/8 of a page in the script that says, she belts out this song that's really great. It's very abstract, and so what that meant from my POV, I'm an avid home recorder. I do a lot of home recording on 4 tracks and 24 tracks, digital, analog. Anyway, have since I was 14, 15 years old. For Emily, while she had done the Broadway show Fun Home, she was not really a songwriter, but I said, I want you to write lyrics and stuff in Patty style. So she did all this like stream of consciousness, like Patty poetry, the kinds of things that she would be sending to Simon in the movie. And we, on the second day of rehearsals, we had some studio time booked, and it was just really something that we improv, and it came together in about an hour, all in, and we just, we put it down on an iPhone to capture it. So kind of went through her poetry, and we saw the first line, I'm a watermelon slam into your driveway, and that I was like, oh, that's where the song definitely starts, and we just went from there, and eventually got saw the next line, and then we saw there was a line like a tongue in your eardrum, but we ended up doubling it and kind of making a little sing-song baby girl thing, like a tongue in your eardrum, dum-dum, and so it started to have a little flow to it, and of course the chorus, for those that haven't seen it, we'll just hold off, but it came together really fast and furious, like all good songs do, I think, and everybody felt, the producers, it was always something that was very scary for them, like, you tell them that the song's going to be great, how do you know? Well, I just know, we'll get to it. I didn't have any fear about the song. I had more fear about logistical and budgetary things for the movie than I did anything else, but so it was very fast and furious, and we kind of sat on it overnight, and then the next day we came back, and I laid down the drums, and then the bass, and then the guitar, and then Emily did her vocal takes, and she did 2 takes, and the one that you hear in the song is the second take, I can tell you that. And when you get to the end credits, we use her first take for part of it. There was like a doubling that we did in stereo, but it was just very fast and furious. It felt very Patty, and we went with it. We just rolled with it.
Awesome. All right, I'll just do one more. So, do you guys have questions? Are you guys budding to ask things? I just want to know.
Yes.
All right, so I'll just have one more, and then I'll open up for some of you guys. You excited for that?
Yeah.
All right. So, one of the things that's really happened in the last year is that Kyle Gallner's profile has kind of like exploded between people discovering him from this movie, rediscovering The Passenger, and Strange Darling, which I think, have you guys seen Strange Darling? Yeah. I think it's opened people's eyes to what an amazing actor he is, and not just the Rocky Horror Kid from Jennifer's Body. But, I want to throw it up Veronica Mars. A lot of people like Veronica Mars. I thought I'd hear a reaction for that. No? All right, there we go. But I'm really curious. I think some of you, how did you meet Kyle? Can you sort of tell us the casting of him in this role? So you sort of became John Q? Simon?
So Kyle had auditioned for a producer of the movie, Ross Putman. He had auditioned for another movie that Ross did called The Young Kieślowski, and he didn't get the role. He wasn't right for the role. But we had his email. And so this is around 2015.
Wow.
We sent Kyle the script, and he was always one of my top 5 choices. There was a picture of Kyle that used to be his profile picture. It's like a daguerreotype or a tintype or something like that I believe had been made at Sundance. You'll probably easily find it. It's kind of black and white, and just, he kind of reminds me of like James Dean a little bit in it. And we had I could just see him as Simon. There was like a sensitivity and a vulnerability, but like it's just a really moody, cool photo. And so he was always kind of a top 5er for me of like young guys that we should explore for Simon.
Yeah.
And he was one of the first that we went to, but I sent him an email with the script and everything, no response. And we went to several other actors. We eventually cast the movie a completely different way, and then ultimately, the film fell apart, as they always do. They come together, they fall apart, they come back. It's the financing fell out, the actors fell out. My DP Jean-Philippe Bernier was shooting a movie with Kyle in Romania called The Cleansing Hour. And he ended up saying to Kyle, this movie that I was about to shoot in the US, it fell apart and they need a lead, but JP was like adamant about Kyle. He was like, you should read it. Yeah, I think you'd really be perfect for it. And Kyle said, what's the name of the script? And he said, Dinner in America. And Kyle's like, I've heard of that. I think I have it. And he went back in his email from like 2.5 years prior, and the script was there, and he never read it. That said, he had his first son right at the same time. He was on a TV show, and he was busy with life, and but that was like, he read the script, and he was like, I have to do this, and he called me, and they put me in contact with him the next day, and he was like, I really want to do this. I was like, you prick, we could have been done with it already. We could have be premiering this film right now because we gave it to you 2.5 years ago. But so that was, I don't know, something about that is kind of magical, how it just all looped back, and it really was Kyle. But we shot it in 2018. We shot this movie in 2018. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's 6 years ago. Yeah.
All right, so we got time for a couple of questions, I think. So let me see. We have some hands up here. All right here in the second row. What's your question?
Hi. So, titular song, Dinner in America. When are we gonna get it on vinyl?
When are we going to get Dinner in America on vinyl is the question.
With all the resurgence, there is the talk of getting it there. So without giving away all the details, hopefully soon, but we are working on it. We're working on having all the PSYOP stuff be on vinyl. So yes, it's coming.
All right. Do we have another one? All right. Well, let's just kind of follow up on that. You were talking a little bit about the actual band that is PSYOPs. Could you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, the band that recorded all the music with Kyle they're called Disco Assault, and they are based in Windsor, Canada, so right across the border from Detroit. When I first heard them, it's like Reagan era hardcore. That's what they kind of built themselves as, and I got in contact with them and wanted to see if we would be able to collaborate on not only the song Dinner in America, which I'd written the lyrics for, but I didn't have the music to go with it. But they did exactly what I was looking for, and they were literally within miles. So I was like, okay, this is great. We ended up licensing 3 songs for them: Obey, Profiles Burning, one other one, and then they had an outtake that fit. Lyrically, it fit what I could cram Dinner in America into, and so I asked them if it would be possible to use, because they sent me a folder with just tons of stuff to listen to, and there was a few that didn't have any lyrics, and I liked one of the outtakes, which is what became Dinner in America, and so we went to a studio in Plymouth. My friend Chris Brees has a studio in Plymouth, Michigan, and it's an old converted church, and we brought them in. And Kyle and Emily, we put them on an airplane from LA. We put them next to each other. They didn't know it, so they got there and they had to sit next to each
That's
other
funny.
the whole way. And so that was a Saturday night. They arrived and Kyle, I was like, we're going to the studio tomorrow. We're gonna do all of your music, literally day one. So it was just jump into the fire type of deal. And we went to the studio, and Disco Assault came, and they laid down all of the music in one day. Their singer did all the scratch tracks that Kyle would kind of follow, and then we did all of the studio recordings in one day with Kyle, punching in and punching out his vocals over the top, which was cool because the drummer was like, wow, he really articulates. I can hear the lyrics much better than the actual singer, which was cool. But he's an actor and he used his voice for it. But then he blew his voice kind of out, which was why? Number one, there's 2 reasons why Kyle's voice is so low in the movie. That first day, he totally blew his voice out. And then all the cigarettes that he had to smoke for signing.
Oh.
There's every scene is a cigarette. And then you're doing multiple takes, so it's just a ton. And so we had to wait another week, and then we did all of his live versions, because that one he really knew the songs really well.
Yeah.
And we were able to record those, like what you see in the punk show at the end of the movie. That's like Kyle doing the full take now, like all on his own, without like punching in and punching out. So that's kind of how we did the punk music.
All right, that's awesome. So let's give a big hand for Adam. If you guys have more questions after both movies are over, come down to the Co-Classics merch table. We have posters. You can, if you have items, you can get them signed. You can meet Adam, ask him more questions. And for that, you guys, we're going to kick it over to Jasper so he can give you the Co-Classics experience. Give it up for Adam. And you guys are about to see Dinner in America. Jasper, tell them about Co-Classics.
What's up, everybody? You guys ready to do this? Yeah! All right, who is here for the first time? All right, awesome. Quite a few hands. We want to make this your new monthly obsession. We do this one Saturday a month here at Landmark. We are moviegoers just like you. We want to show movies that we grew up with, that you guys grew up with. Maybe there's some nostalgia there. We like to show movies. That's what we do, is what we're into. We're Co-Classics. Thank you guys so much for being with us. So here's how we're going to do this tonight. We are going to watch Dinner in America, but in a minute, we're going to have a pre-show. In that pre-show, we're going to give you some trailers, just like a regular movie. However, the difference is, with these trailers, you get to vote on what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So we use this to kind of get a feeling of what people are looking for, and we gauge that on how we pick our movies. So